Hey people, Fernando doing another video for the More Survivalist channel, and in this case, yet again, talking about survival and preparedness in the practical, realistic way I like to do it. Now, there's a lot of content that I do both for my books. By the way, you have Surviving the Economic Collapse about there, you have Street Survival Skills, and the content that I do for the channel, completely free. You can just use the search function and find a lot of content here as well. But everything that I do, I put a lot of thought into. Sometimes it's not always that obvious, but believe me, that's how it goes. Now, here I have a great example, actually. I'm fortunate because you're talking about a person that suffered a horrible accident, and that is always sad, but there's a lesson here to be learned as well. I'm talking, of course, about the actor Jermey Renner, the actor from Hawkeye, the Marvel movies, the superhero movies. Multi-millionaire guy, super successful. I think he lived in Aspen, was it? Anyway, he lives in some pretty snowy place, and he has like a very nice ranch, like a very nice place, which is expected from someone that has a lot of money. Oh, good for him. Fantastic that he's a very wealthy and a recognized actor, and these are the things that sometimes people go all like oh yes, actors are all assholes. No, that's you don't know the guy. You don't know if he's a fantastic guy or not. For all you know, that may well be the case. I just see someone that is super successful in what he does, and I'm happy for him. Whatever he ends up doing, good for him. But here you have one of these lessons that is sometimes not clearly recognized. So you have a guy that has lots of financial resources, a lot of money. He seems to be someone that keeps himself fit, good health, smart guy, I will assume, given the way he managed his career. All of that, all of those ducks in a row. Now, from the preparedness perspective, from the survival perspective, I would not tell you to live in a place like this. This is my objective analysis. Now, if you're this guy that loves, snow sports, winter sports, loves running your snow bikes, your snowmobiles, and this stuff, life is too short to do anything else. But from the preparedness aspect, from an objective analysis, this is the kind of thing you try to avoid. That's why I explained in Bugging Out and Relocating, a book specifically about where is it that you should be going so as to maximize your chances, improve your survival odds when things start going, not your way, right? When there's problems. Well, not in a snowy place. That is one thing that you obviously recommend. Why? Well, the most obvious thing is, in a place like this, if you don't stay warm, you freeze to death, right? That is kind of obvious. Now, there's a few things that are not so obvious, like, well, yeah, not only can you freeze to death if you don't have heating, if there's a financial problem, heating becomes more expensive. It becomes more complicated to keep your house warm enough because you have to pay for that, heating bill, heating oil or wood or whatever it is that you have going on there. Oh, no, but Fernando, they have a cabin and they have my own place. Well, that's fantastic, but that brings along a whole other aspect of survival and preparedness involving winter climates, which is the chances of you suffering an accident. This means that even if you have your own, nice chunk of land, and you have a couple fire places, and you have some fire stove, and you have all of these options, you have to process that wood, you have to move it around, you have to cut it. All of this involves tools, machinery, equipment. Again, if this is the kind of stuff you enjoy, this is the kind of stuff that is fun for you, having lived in different places, usually the thing I hear the most is, it gets old very fast. We like it for a while, and eventually, yeah, we like going to warmer places. So that's something that you hear quite a bit. But when you go down to all of these details, one of the things you realize is you're maximizing the chances of you suffering an accident. Not only is it expensive to keep a place warm, either because of the bills you're paying, or because of the wood and something that you have to make sure you have just to stay warm, the chances of you suffering an accident are also increased. One of the most common accidents related specifically to living in a place like this is just swinging around an axe. You using a basic axe means that you have a much greater chance of you getting hurt with it. Now, using a saw, can you cut yourself? Yes. Using a chainsaw, can you hurt yourself? Yes, it happens all the time. So, chainsaws, axes, moving. Let's say you have a lot of money. Let's say you have a big place. Let's say you have some of this stuff that this guy has. Like, yeah, I move around some of the wood I have with my tractor. Right? You have a tractor and a little basket there in the back. You move it around. Well, you could get hurt in the tractor. Well, it's something that could get broken and needs repair and needs fuel. All related to where you're living. If you live in a place where it's not even cold in winter, none of this is an issue. None of this is something that could come back and bite you financially, from a practical aspect of not freezing, from you having to do all of these chores so as to keep you warm in winter, if that's the case for a lot of people. And I could go on in so many other things. It gets a point where if you haven't died, if you've been successful at surviving, you will get old. I'm not all that old yet, but I understand that conversations with people, it hurts. Your body, your bones, your joints, all of these things start hurting more when it's cold. That's why usually old people end up living in Boca Raton or whatever the hell it is. They like warm climates because that is the kind of thing that's more beneficial for your survival. Eventually, it's something that people end up appreciating. So, even just, I'm okay. I'm 90 years old. I'm great with cold weather, no problem. Okay, still moving around. Still the chances of you suffering an accident when driving around because of the snow, because of the ice. The chances of you, as you get older, someone in the family has, dementia. Super common thing. When people get old, that's the kind of thing they have to deal with. It's not zombies. It's not, the UN invading your country and taking over for whatever, No, it's these common things. So old people, dementia, walking out in winter, you freeze to death. Accidents, little kids that get lost. Yes, all of these things related specifically to the environment that you are in. So, am I saying don't live in cold weather climates, cold weather regions? Absolutely not. If that's where you're stuck for whatever reason, plan accordingly. Have, plan BC. Have all of that. You love living there? Absolutely. Just keep in mind, all of these things that I'm explaining are things that you have to keep in mind so as to minimize the risk of these happening to you or affecting you in some way or another. Now, objectively, yeah, I would go more for a type of weather, if you have the option, a type of weather where I don't even need any of this. And maybe if I want to have a cabin, in the woods, go skiing, have fun, well, if you're smart about that, you can live. I live in a place where there's no need for heating, and I could just get in my car and an hour away start skiing. No problem whatsoever. If you select your location specifically, you can get the best of both worlds. You just need to plan accordingly. You need to be smart about it. You need to do the kind of thing that I do in my channel and I explain in my books, all right? It's just a matter of strategically selecting where is it that you end up, okay? Guys, it's going to be all for now. Subscribe to the channel, share the video. See you on the next one. Take care. And yes, of course, if you haven't got it for Christmas, Street Survival Skills, absolutely recommend it. Take care. See you in our next video.